Hi, it's Niki with Equilibria. I'm a dosing specialist here at Equilibria. And let's wait to see who's joining us today. Welcome everyone. Come on in, EQ community. Hey y'all. Hello everyone. As I said, hi, my name is Niki and I'm a dosing specialist here at Equilibria. I'm a member of the member education team and we're all dosing specialists. And so here at Equilibria, a dosing specialist is a CBD cannabis educator, not a physician and not commissioned on sales. We're here to answer any questions that you may have and to work with you to find a routine that works for you. I also want to let you know that I may be glancing over at another screen to check my notes to make sure that I remember everything that I want to share with you today. And you also may catch some of my colleagues answering questions in the chat as well. So, as I said, I'm Niki and I'm a dosing specialist here at EQ. And today on EQ and You, we're going to talk about episodic dosing. Now, episodic dosing are additional doses in addition to your daily CBD routine. When you need some additional support in added dosage on top of your daily routine. For those days when life throws you a curveball, an episodic dose may be exactly what you need for some quick relief to help restore balance to your body and mind. Now, as I said, an episodic dose is a small extra dose of additional CBD in addition to your daily CBD routine. Now, since everyone's body chemistry is unique and everyone's endocannabinoid tone is individual, there is not one specific dose for an episodic dose. And we always recommend going low and slow when starting to incorporate an episodic dose into your routine. Now, you may ask, what are some reasons why you may take an episodic dose? As I mentioned, for those moments of increased stress when life is throwing you a curveball and you need just some additional support for that stress relief that just is really helpful so that you can breathe and take the edge off. Another time that you may find to be helpful for an episodic dose is when you're experiencing occasional sleep challenges, for when that extra stress that you're experiencing has carried over into the evening and you're having a really hard time winding down to get to sleep. You may find an episodic dose at that time to be helpful. Another thing that you may find an episodic dose to be helpful is if you are having a hard time falling back to sleep. If you've woken up in the middle of the night, you may find an episodic dose at that time to also be helpful. If you're experiencing increased discomfort levels in your body, you may find an additional episodic dose to be helpful at that time as well. Another time that you may find an episodic dose to be helpful is when you're experiencing a lot of overwhelm and you need some help to focus so that you can get a task done and complete a project at hand. Another time that may be helpful For those of us that experience menstruation monthly, we may find that additional episodic dose. For some, it's like a couple days leading up to their monthly cycle, and for some, it's even through their monthly cycle as well, that they need that additional episodic dosing for that additional support so that they can be the best version of themselves possible. Now, you may ask, what are some possibilities for an episodic dose? Now, the fastest acting product that we have is a rapid calming melt. The rapid calming melt is, as I mentioned, the fastest acting ingestible product. And sometimes it's just incredibly discreet because all you need to do is take a sip of water and allow one of the melts to dissolve under your tongue. Each melt is 5 milligrams of CBD, and they can also be cut in half as well for when you start. Now, they absorb within 10 minutes and last anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. Now, another option for an episodic dose when you need that additional support are using your daily drops. Now, their onset is anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, so not as quick as those rapid calming melts, and they last in your system for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Now, before you take daily drops, anytime you take your daily drops, you should always try to swallow whatever saliva you have in your mouth so that you're able to absorb as much of that oil as possible without the interference of any additional saliva. Now, if you're going to use the daily drops for an episodic dose, you can take a half a dropper of daily drops at that time. You would hold it under your tongue, and then about 30 minutes later, if you're still experiencing those same feelings, you could take an additional half dropper of daily drops. And that is what's known as an episodic dose using daily drops. Now, always be sure to hold that oil under your tongue for at least a minute whenever you're taking those daily drops after you've swallowed your saliva as well. Now, another option for an episodic dose are our tasty and delicious daily gummies. Now, we love using them as a part of a daily routine, but for those moments when we need additional support, you may find adding a gummy in as a possibility, because the gummies also have the option of dynamic dosing, meaning they can be cut in half. So you could take half a gummy, which would be 5 milligrams of CBD. If you were starting out, start with a half a gummy. See if that half a gummy for an episodic dose makes a difference for you. Now, remember, the gummies onset is longer than the rapid calming melts or the daily drops. The gummies onset is about 30 minutes to an hour and then lasts in your system for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. Now, the gummies start their absorption sublingually, and they finish their absorption through the digestive tract. So the longer you hold that gummy in your mouth and allow that CBD to be absorbed sublingually, the sooner the onset of that gummy. Now, if you also happen to have healthy fat in your system, when you ingest that gummy, that may help the gummy stay in your system for a longer period of time, closer to that 8 hours period of time. Now, whenever starting to add an episodic dose into your daily routine, we always recommend starting with half a dosage. So if you were, say, starting with the rapid calming melt, try cutting a rapid calming melt in half. Take half the rapid calming melt, and then about a half an hour later, if you still have not noticed relief from that half a rapid calming melt, you could try taking the other half of the rapid calming melt. The same goes with those daily drops. When you're just starting out, you could take a quarter of a dropper of daily drops and see what you notice from that. Because you always want to go low and slow with your routine, including your episodic dose. Now, one way that you want to track all of this is you want to journal about your routine. You want to journal about your daily CBD routine, how things are going in your life. Just make note of them, but make note of if the need arises for any additional episodic dose. Make note of them in your journal. Make note of how the episodic dose made you feel. Did it change anything for you, the first part of the episodic dose? Or did you need an additional dosage before things felt any different for you? And make note of that in your journal, because that will also be really helpful information for you going forward, so that you know what your sweet spot is to help support yourself. And when you're going low and slow, that sweet spot may also change as well. So that's why you make note of these changes as you go along your CBD journey in your journal. Now, another thing that many members do find helpful when they need an additional episodic dose is they may find a topical product to be helpful in addition to the ingestible products. So if it's your monthly cycle, you may find using some relief balm to be helpful in areas that you're experiencing discomfort. Or if you're experiencing increased stress and hold stress or tension in your body, you may find applying relief balm to be helpful and in those areas as well. You may also find the dynamic roller duo to be helpful, to incorporate that during your episodic dose, and also incorporating breathing techniques into your episodic dose, and using the aromatherapy benefits of doing some deep breathing while you've taken your episodic dose. You're trying to breathe your way through it, and you're breathing the aromatic benefits of the dynamic roller duo or even the relief balm while you've taken your episodic dose. But also make note of how that dosage made you feel in your journal. Now, if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to Dosage at myeq.com. And we're here every Wednesday. So remember to watch next Wednesday for My EQ and You. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Be well. Bye-bye, EQ community.